All right, now let's look at repeating columns, and specifically what we'll be doing is creating sort of a spinal column. But don't underestimate how good it looks to just simply take one shape, or maybe three in this case, and just kind of vary the sizes as you go up and kind of follow the same pattern, kind of stacking them upwards. And certainly for a spinal column, it definitely works. What we should do though is go ahead and shade these shapes. I went ahead and created them because this one we actually created in a past lesson, and in case you forgot, all we're doing here is just basically taking the polystar tool, moving it down like that, and just connecting up all those lines inside of here to make these shapes. So very simple. We do need to shade them though, and let's go over here to our swatches, and we'll basically just come across here, go with light on one side, getting darker as we step across. For this one, well, for these two, they have less steps across, obviously, so we'll kind of shade them in bigger increments. That looks like the same color to me. And I guess for that last one, we'll leave that color there, and same thing over there. So let's go ahead and get rid of that, get rid of that. Get rid of, well, you know what? Let me make this color a little lighter. That's probably okay. Or does it? I don't know. I guess it probably makes more sense to have them all the same color on the top. In which case, I just don't want these two to kind of merge together. In that case, what we'll do is we'll just come over here to color mixer and give that a slight move up. Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and make these into symbols. So we'll just call this spinal column 1. Copy that name. F8. Spinal column 2. Spinal column 3. Alright, now go ahead and figure out how you want to stack these. It's really up to you. And obviously what we could do is we could make this all one symbol and then start stacking that. If you kind of want a little bit greater specificity within that, you could leave them separate. That way you can start doing some rotations on each one. This could look quite good. So you got something like that happening. And I'm going to go ahead and start back over again. Let's just try a straight up and down one for now. Oh, actually, I think I rotated that a little. And looking at these, they could definitely be shaded too, or they could use a drop shadow, I should say. So if you get something like this, I think after a while you would probably want to make some of them a little smaller, or kind of just offset the patterning of it a bit. And probably from a a realistic design standpoint, that doesn't make much sense. If you were really making a robot, why would you start kind of varying the sizes of these little things inside of the spine? But I think just from an illustration standpoint, it looks a little better to kind of do a bit of a mishmash with these pieces. And let's try the shadowing real quick. I don't think a drop shadow would work here because you've got some big ones like this where the drop shadow is going to overhang inside. I think your best bet is to actually go into the symbol itself and play around with doing something like, I'm just going to copy all the art inside of here, just paste it on top, make it black, and then I'll lock that layer right there, and then just take a line through this and do something like so. Let's make that at about 40%. And it would probably look weird if you didn't do it on every one of them. So let's just see how it looks. And doing that angled shadow might not be the best thing either. Well, come to think of it too, the light source is actually on that side. Looks okay. I think it's a bit too dark. Let's just try it at maybe even 20%. Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, let's make it a little smaller too. Yeah, I think that's okay. I would probably play around as well with just doing a kind of more of a straight across shadow like this. Which, if you're looking at it, it might not even translate as a shadow, but just more of a kind of extra bit of detailing in the column itself. So either way is, I think, fine there. I might just get rid of them for now, though. Yeah. Okay, and then another thing to consider would be, so you've got, here, I'll kind of extend this one a little bit. So you've got a big column like that. You could apply another light source to it. Here, I'll just make that full white for now. Make it into a symbol. Let's call it light. Properties. Let's first go over here and play with the blending. Something like overlay would look good. Then let's just blur it. There we go. That looks good. That's nice and metalrific. Yeah, that's a really good effect, I think. You could even try playing around with doing the opposite, or even a double one. That looks good as well. But if you're to do the opposite, you might want to try inverting this or subtracting out. Looks like we'd have to take the alpha down, though, wouldn't we? There we go. Yep, that works. Okay, it's more parts for our library. Go ahead and take it over here. Make it a bit smaller. Okay, more to come.